Amazon Prime Day is a trap. A scam. A financial thirst trap dressed as convenience. And I, Lexi, fell face first into it like a wide-eyed raccoon with a credit card. Let's rewind. I log on at 9 a.m. just to peek. The app is glowing. My homepage is like, fire deals you can't miss, limited time, everything you've never needed. I think, maybe I'll just look. Responsible adult stuff. Like socks, a toothbrush, a phone charger. Cut to 9:07 a.m. I've already added a humidifier shaped like a mushroom, LED ice cubes, a mini treadmill for cats, I don't even have a cat, and a ceramic mug that says CEO of Crying. I don't even remember clicking half of it. I think my soul left my body. Then I see it. Only 30 seconds left on this flash deal. No description, just a blurry photo of what looks like a blender inside a camping lantern. My heart's racing. I scream, I need that. Click, but. Cut to 9:18 a.m. I'm sweating. I've ordered 14 items, including an avocado saver, a t-shirt with a raccoon holding a knife, and a luxury velvet couch for $32. Again, no pets. Suddenly, I snap out of it. Like I've just come out of a shopping coma. I stare at my order history like, what have I done? And there it is, at the very bottom. Horse hoof cleaner, 2-pack. I don't own horses. I don't even know a horse. Why 2? Cut to 2 days later. My doorbell rings. I open it to a mountain of boxes. It looks like Christmas morning for a very confused cowboy. I open the first one. It's a body pillow shaped like a baguette. I don't remember clicking it, but it's soft, and now I love it. His name is Lofi. Then comes the real chaos. One box is just full of tiny silicone kitchen utensils shaped like corgis. Another box has a doormat that says, come back with tacos. And I definitely ordered a spice rack shaped like a Ferris wheel. I sit on my floor surrounded by questionable life choices and bubble wrap and just whisper, this is why I shouldn't be left alone with Wi-Fi and coffee. Moral of the story? Prime Day is not a sale, it's a personality test. Amazon's suggested for you section thinks I'm a sad clown with a Pinterest addiction. And no, I'm not returning Lofi. We're in love now. Anyway, I'm Lexi. And if you ever saw a woman carrying a baguette pillow while unboxing LED nipple lights she doesn't remember ordering, that was me. Tell me in the comments. What's the weirdest thing you've panic bought online? Drunk shopping, late night scrolling, that one time you bought a medieval cloak just to see? Let's bond over boxes of regret, babe. Love you, mean it. Lexi, out. Okay, so picture this. Sunshine, birds chirping, me looking like I was plucked out of a Pinterest board titled Romantic Vibes Only. I'm talking sundress, woven basket, strawberries, and my bangs actually cooperating. Hi, I'm Lexi, and this is the story of how I tried to have a dreamy outdoor date and ended up becoming public enemy number 1 to the insect kingdom. Let's go back. I matched with this guy. He's cute. He reads books voluntarily. He said the word compost unironically. So obviously I was in. I suggest a picnic. We meet at this gorgeous park. Big trees, no screaming children in sight. I show up with a blanket, cheese, wine, and the energy of someone who definitely Googled picnic date ideas at midnight. We lay the blanket down, set everything up. He compliments my cheese selection, brie, always a win. We're vibing. 10 minutes in, I feel a little tickle on my leg. I brush it off. Then another. Then 5. Then bam! Full freaking ant assault. Turns out, I laid our entire setup on an anthill, like directly on top of their front door. And they were pissed. I leap up, screaming, flailing, doing what can only be described as interpretive dance mixed with full body terror. He jumps up too, startled, asking, "Are you okay? What's happening?" And I, mid-freak out, try to grab the wine glass to move it, but instead, I throw it directly at his crotch. Rosé. Everywhere. Like a scene from a very flirty crime drama. He gasps, freezes, looks down, and just goes, "Well, that's, cool and refreshing." I want to die. Or get adopted by the ants and start a new life underground. Either one. He tries to reassure me, like, "It's fine. I mean, I've never been attacked by ants and wine at the same time, but first time for everything." Legend. We try to salvage the date by walking it off, but honestly, my legs are itchy, my ego is shattered, and he smells like a walking vineyard crime scene. Moral of the story: never trust grass. Ants are organized and ruthless, and always look before you lay the blanket, babe. Anyway, I'm Lexi, and if you ever saw a girl running across a park, swatting invisible demons, and wine staining her date's private area, that was me. Tell me in the comments, what's your worst outdoor date fail? Rain, bugs, frisbee to the face? Let's cry under the sun together. Love you, mean it. Lexi out. So I'm out with my friends. Dive bar, karaoke night. You know, sticky tables, neon beer signs, a DJ who looks like he sells crystals out of his trunk. Hi, I'm Lexi, and this is the story of how I tried to channel my inner Beyoncé and ended up singing like a ghost that haunts dive bars in total silence. Let's rewind. We'd had a few drinks. I was wearing my "I feel cute, might overshare later" outfit, and my friends are like, "You have to do karaoke. You were in choir in high school." Choir in high school. That was 12 years and 4 heartbreaks ago. But I'm buzzed and delusional. So I grab the songbook, scroll past the basics, land on the boldest possible choice, Love on Top by Queen Beyoncé herself. This song has like 47 key changes and 0 mercy. But I'm like, this is nigh Super Bowl, let's go. They call my name, the lights dim, kinda. I get up there and grab the mic with pure star power. The music starts. I start belting. I mean belting, like I'm in Madison Square Garden. Hands in the air, body swaying, full vocal gymnastics. But something's off. The crowd looks confused. They're not vibing. My friend group is sitting there with this frozen smile like they're watching me do stand-up at a funeral. I keep going. Hit the first key change. Give it everything I've got. Still, no reaction. Then I notice the monitor has no sound bar. The mic cord is barely plugged in. I pull it out, plug it back in. Suddenly, boom! My voice comes blasting through the speakers. Mid-sentence, and I realize I had just sung 75% of the song in silence to a confused, slowly panicking audience who probably thought I was doing some avant-garde lip-sync performance art. I stop, look at the crowd, and just say into the now working mic, "So that's what it feels like to be muted by God." The bar erupts in laughter. The DJ gives me a slow clap. Somebody yells, "Run it back from the top." And I do. I sing the whole thing again. This time, with sound, with joy, with way too much shoulder movement. And somehow the fail turned into a win. Moral of the story: always check the mic before unleashing your inner diva. Confidence is louder than any speaker, and if you bomb, bomb with style. Anyway, I'm Lexi, and if you ever saw a woman passionately singing into an off mic with the power of 10 hurricanes, that was me. Tell me in the comments, What's your most public performance fail? Bad mic, forgotten lyrics, wrong stage? Let's laugh through the spotlight, babe. Love you, mean it. Lexi out. Okay, so I like to pretend I'm that girl who can cook. You know, effortlessly sautéing onions in a silk robe while vibing to jazz. Spoiler, I am not that girl. Hi, I'm Lexi, and this is the story of how I tried to make dinner for a guy, but ended up trapped in my bathroom while legumes exploded across my home. Let's begin. I invite this guy over. He's cute, wears glasses, smells like sandalwood, says things like, "I love a woman who can cook." Cool, cool, cool. So, naturally, I decide to cook something complicated and culturally rich that I have never made before. Enter chickpea coconut curry. The recipe said, easy, done in 30 minutes with a pressure cooker, which is bold of them because I've only used a microwave and emotional manipulation. Anyway, I buy the ingredients: chickpeas, spices, fresh ginger. I even buy a pressure cooker specifically for this date because love makes you stupid and poor. So I'm chopping, sautéing, feeling confident. He texts, "Be there in 20," and I'm like, perfect, time to pressure cook. I put everything in, lock the lid, turn the dial, and then hissing, like loud hissing, followed by shaking. Then the lid starts spinning a little. I lean in like an idiot and whisper, "Are you okay?" to a machine like it can hear me. Suddenly, boom, the pressure valve pops, steam shoots out like a rocket. There are chickpeas bouncing off my cabinet. It smells like curry and bad decisions. I scream, abandon the kitchen, run into the bathroom, lock the door because obviously that's what you do when you're being attacked by legumes. He knocks on the front door. I yell from behind the bathroom door like I'm in witness protection. "1 second, everything's fine, just self-care." I'm sweating. Chickpea particles are literally sliding under the bathroom door. It's like a Pixar horror film. Eventually, I come out, disheveled, hair frizzed, apron half on. He's standing in the living room, just blinking. I go, "So, dinner's gonna be less structured than planned." He laughs. We order pizza, eat it on the floor, and he says, "Honestly, best date I've had in years." Moral of the story? Pressure cookers are evil. Never test new appliances under romantic pressure, and if love is real, he'll still like you covered in chickpea debris. Anyway, I'm Lexi, and if you ever saw a woman in an apron hiding from her own cooking like it's haunted, that was me. Tell me in the comments, what's your worst cooking disaster? Burned, exploded, forgot the main ingredient? Let's sob in seasoning together. Love you, mean it. Lexi out. All right, so we all have our airport personalities. Some people show up in sweatpants and neck pillows. Me, I show up like I might meet my soulmate at baggage claim. Hi, I'm Lexi, and this is the story of how I tried to look like a 10 at the airport, but ended up in a tiny TSA interrogation room because my beauty routine screamed domestic threat. Let's go back. It's a 7 a.m. flight, which means I woke up at 4 a.m. to do full glam, foundation, contour, lashes. The whole "don't talk to me, I'm important" look. I glue on my fake lashes like a pro. They're dramatic. They flutter when I blink. They can probably sense seismic activity. Anyway, I get to the airport, check in, strut through security like a celebrity on a press tour. Then a TSA agent goes, "Ma'am, we need to swab your hands and bag." I'm like, okay, sure, standard. They swab. The swab goes in the machine. Machine beeps, turns red. The agent freezes, looks at me like I just handed him a grenade. He goes, "Ma'am, this is testing positive for trace explosives." Explosives? I blink. My lashes fan the air in slow motion terror. I laugh, nervously, like, "Explosives? I literally have glitter in my purse." They pull me aside, take me to that weird glass box area. Now I'm barefoot, clutching my Dior lip gloss, surrounded by Homeland Security. The female agent comes over and says, "Let's go through your bag again. Any chemical substances?" I'm like, "Only if Sephora counts as dangerous." She pulls out my makeup bag, opens it, sniffs, then goes, "What's this?" Holding up my eyelash glue. I say, "That's just lash glue, duo, waterproof, shade panic." She nods and goes, "Yeah, that'll do it. These glues sometimes trigger false positives." False positives. So basically, my lashes were considered a national security risk. I nearly got detained for trying to look snatched in Terminal B. Finally, they let me go. No apology, just a "you're good to go," and a slow, judgmental blink from the officer. I walked to my gate, shaken, slightly sweaty, but still cute, okay? And you bet I kept the lashes on. If I was going down, I was going down looking fabulous. Moral of the story? TSA doesn't understand the struggle of waterproof beauty. Eyelash glue is the silent killer, and sometimes glam is literally too powerful. Anyway, I'm Lexi, and if you ever saw a woman being interrogated in a full beat face and fuzzy socks, that was me. Tell me in the comments, have you ever been stopped by TSA for something stupid? Snacks, scissors, suspicious bronzer? Let's scream into our travel pillows together. Love you. Mean it. Lexi out. So I get this invite from a friend. It says, "Come to my new place, costume party, theme, outer space." And I'm like, "Oh, say less." Hi, I'm Lexi, and this is the story of how I turned myself into a green alien princess and walked straight into a very normal wine and cheese party with the confidence of someone who definitely should have double-checked the date. Let's go back. The invite said next Saturday. Apparently, I read it wrong. I showed up this Saturday, but at the time, I thought I was on time, early even, which made me extra confident in going full send on my costume. I spent 2 hours getting ready, painted my entire face green, added silver glitter to my cheekbones, wore metallic thigh-high boots, and a latex bodysuit so tight I had to baby powder myself in. I even glued tiny, sparkly planets to a headband. I looked like Miss Universe, but literally. I Ubered to the address, walk up the steps, knock knock. The door opens, and there's my friend, in jeans, holding a cheese board, eyes wide, like I just stepped off a spaceship and demanded rent. I go, "I'm here, alien queen realness," and she goes, "You're early." I blink. A lot. I say, "Fashionably?" She says, "By 7 days." I want to evaporate, melt into the welcome mat, or maybe phone home. I look past her. Inside the house, people are casually mingling, talking about mortgages and oat milk, and I'm standing there in green paint, silver thigh highs, and pure despair. I try to play it cool. "Oh, haha, right, I was just testing the vibe." She says, "You want to come in anyway?" And I say, "Absolutely not." But I do. Because I'm Lexi, and if I'm gonna suffer, it'll be socially and sparkly. So I enter. Smile at strangers who are trying very hard not to stare at my literal antennas. One woman goes, "I love your boldness." I say, "Thanks, I'm from Jupiter. I don't believe in subtlety." I stay for 20 minutes, eat 1 cube of cheese, knock over a plant with my winged shoulder pads. Then I Uber home, still glowing in the dark. Literally. Moral of the story? Always double check the date. Glitter is not easy to explain, and being out of this world isn't always a compliment. Anyway, I'm Lexi, and if you ever saw a glowing green woman eating brie and shame next to a finance bro, that was me. Tell me in the comments, what's your most tragically mistimed moment? Wrong party, wrong day, wrong dimension. Let's bond over time-space confusion, babe. Love you, mean it. Lexi out. Okay, so I'm at the mall. Nothing dramatic, just minding my business, pretending not to buy things I absolutely don't need. Hi, I'm Lexi, and this is the story of how I tried to treat myself and instead got physically bullied by a massage chair in front of a Crotch store. Let's go back. I'm strolling through the mall, latte in hand, feeling cute. Suddenly I see it, the chair. It's big, it's shiny, it's kind of ominous. You know the kind. Sits in the middle of the walkway like a forgotten throne of chaos. And I think, why not? I deserve a little me time. I drop in a few coins, sit down, select a setting. Now, what I meant to pick was relaxing lower back. What I actually pressed, Shiatsu Max Deep Core Mode Extended. The screen flashes red, the chair makes a growl noise, and then it begins. First, my legs get locked in, like fully clamped by these puffy, air-filled cuffs. Then the rollers activate, and I swear one goes directly for my spleen. I lurch forward like I'm giving birth to my regrets. I try to press buttons. Nothing responds. The chair just keeps escalating. Now it's doing this thing where it punches my lower back in 3/4 time. People are walking by, staring. One woman takes out her phone. I'm probably on TikTok titled, "Mole Possession Caught on Cam." I'm laughing, but also crying. Like that unhinged laugh where you accept death. I can't get up. I'm trapped. I live here now. Finally, a mall employee sees me. He's like 14 years old. Name tag says, Travis. Travis walks up like he's seen this before. He goes, you stuck? I'm like, yes, Travis, I am fused to this chair. He pulls out a key, unlocks a panel, reads from a laminated manual, then turns a dial like he's disarming a bomb. The chair deflates. The claws release. I flop out like a fish onto dry land. Hair wild, makeup melted, legs numb, soul gone. Travis goes, yeah, that setting's too intense. No one picks that one. Why is it even an option, Travis? Moral of the story, self-care should not involve risk of injury. Massage chairs are secretly demons, and if Travis ever runs for president, I'm voting for him. Anyway, I'm Lexi, and if you ever saw a woman being violently kneaded like pizza dough in front of a Cinnabon, that was me. Tell me in the comments, what's your most unhinged public tech fail? Escalator? Smart toilet? Haunted vending machine? Let's laugh through the trauma, babe. Love ya. Mean it. Lexi out. Okay, so remote work sounds great in theory, right? No commute, no pants, no forced elevator small talk. But what they don't tell you is sometimes you are one spreadsheet away from absolutely losing your mind. Hi, I'm Lexi, and this is the story of how I tried to escape a boring Zoom meeting by pretending my Wi-Fi was broken and ended up exposing myself harder than a broken Snapchat filter. Let's go back. It's a Monday, 10 a.m. My calendar says budget review plus strategy sync. Kill me. I log on. Camera on. Smile pasted. Voice chipper. And the second the VP starts talking about quarterly synergy projections, I go full mental shutdown. I'm nodding, but inside, I'm just screaming into the void. So I hatch a plan. Classic move. Oh no, my Wi-Fi's being weird. Pretend to glitch, freeze face, turn off camera, mute mic. The execution, flawless. My freeze face even had a little confused concentration look, Oscar-worthy. But one thing I forgot, I had been screen sharing earlier to show some charts, and I never stopped. So, while I thought I had gracefully exited the call, my screen was still being broadcast to all 12 coworkers. They watched in real time as I opened ASOS.com, browsing strappy sandals, a tab labeled How to Fake Bad Wi-Fi Zoom, a YouTube video literally titled Fake Freeze on Zoom, Act Like a Pro. And then, because the mic was still on, they heard me go, God, if I hear synergy one more time, I'm going to log off this planet. I am unaware. I'm sipping iced coffee, comparing sandal colors, Googling how long does it take to get fired remotely. Suddenly, my phone buzzes. Text from my coworker. Lexi, you're screen sharing. Abort. I freeze, for real this time. Slam the laptop shut like it personally insulted my family. Panic, sweat, existential shame spiral. 5 minutes later, I rejoin the call like, sorry, my Wi-Fi totally died. Hope I didn't miss anything. And everyone's got this little polite smirk on their face, like they just watched me spiritually undress. My boss says, glad you're back. Love the sandals, by the way. Kill me. Moral of the story, always double check your screen sharing. Never trust a fake freeze. And if you're gonna lie on Zoom, close your tabs first. Anyway, I'm Lexi. And if you ever heard someone mutter, synergy can suck it during a team sync, that was me. Tell me in the comments, what's your most tragic Zoom moment? Forgot the camera was on, mic caught your secrets, accidental pet cameo? Let's cry behind the ring light together. Love you, mean it. Lexi out. So I walk into this bookstore. Independent, smells like old pages and self-doubt. I'm there to feel smart, not to actually buy anything, obviously. Hi, I'm Lexi. And this is the story of how I tried to flirt with a cute book guy and instead confessed to finding Franz Kafka erotically stimulating. Let's rewind. I'm in the fiction section pretending to look for something meaningful when I see him, tall, mysterious, black hoodie, worn-in jeans, reading the Metamorphosis like it's a love letter. We make eye contact. He smiles. Small, crooked, bookstore boy smile, and then he speaks. Now, this is where everything implodes. He says, Kafka is so neurotic. And I, in my haze of caffeine and delusion, hear, Kafka is so erotic. And I, not even blinking, say, right? Like that cockroach metaphor, so charged. Immediate silence. He stares. Blink. Blink. Like I just suggested we reenact the bug scene in aisle 3. He goes, you think Kafka is erotic? And instead of backing down, instead of course correcting like a normal person, I go, I mean, the tension, the transformation, he's crawling on the walls, trapped in his body. It's all very primal. Why, Lexi, why? He looks genuinely concerned, puts the book down like it's contaminated, and I realize, oh no, he said neurotic, not erotic. Different vibe, very different vibe. At this point, I have two options. Walk out of the store and fake my death, commit fully. Naturally, I go with option 3, nervous laughter and escape. I mutter, I must be thinking of someone else, like, a nice nin? Kafka's less sticky cousin? He's just staring.
possibly reevaluating literature, women, and his life choices. I grab the nearest book, something called The History of Cement, pretend to flip through it, and back away slowly like I'm diffusing a bomb made of shame. Moral of the story? Always confirm what someone actually said. Kafka is about existential dread, not sexual awakening. And flirting in bookstores is only cute when you're not turning literary trauma into foreplay. Anyway, I'm Lexi, and if you ever heard a girl passionately describe the metamorphosis as charged and sensual, that was me. Tell me in the comments, what's your most embarrassing misheard moment? Wrong lyrics, wrong context, wrong author? Let's die of secondhand cringe together, babe. Love you, mean it. Lexi out.
So listen, there's classy, and then there's pretending to be classy while actively lying through your wine-stained teeth. Hi, I'm Lexi, and this is the story of how I tried to impress a wine guy by pretending to be sophisticated, but instead described a $5 sangria like it was a vintage Bordeaux with the flavor profile of a haunted beach snack. Let's go back. Dinner party. One of those adult gatherings with real forks and ambient jazz. Everyone's talking about film and artisanal cheese like they're born in a Wes Anderson film. I show up looking cute, a little nervous, and ready to flirt. Enter the crush. He's tall, charming, and most importantly, he works at a wine bar, which means he knows things, like what tannins are and how to swirl a glass without elbowing a lamp. Midway through the evening, he hands me a glass and goes, "Tell me what you taste." And I panic because I taste wine, just grape juice that pays taxes. But I'm not about to say that. So I pause, swirl the glass, sniff it like I've seen people do in movies. Then I say, out loud, in front of everyone, crunchy, with strong ocean vibes. Crunchy, like it's a granola bar. Ocean vibes, like I'm licking a seashell. Everyone freezes. He blinks and goes, "Ocean vibes?" And I double down. I say, "Yeah, like saltwater raisins, but in a good way, like if Poseidon was a fruit." Why? Why am I like this? He laughs, which I think is good, until he says, "You know that's boxed sangria, right? I brought it as a joke. It's literally $4.99 from the corner shop." At that moment, my soul leaves my body, the wine in my mouth turns to ash. I have become one with the cringe. I try to recover. Well, I meant ocean vibes emotionally, like longing, melancholy, shipwrecked fruit. He just raises his glass and says, "To crunchy ocean fruit." Moral of the story? Never fake wine knowledge. Boxed sangria does not have layers. And sometimes silence is better than Poseidon was a fruit. Anyway, I'm Lexi. And if you ever saw a girl passionately describing $5 sangria like it's aged in Poseidon's basement, that was me. Tell me in the comments, what's the weirdest thing you've ever blurted out trying to sound smart? Wine? Art? Cryptocurrency? Let's raise a plastic cup to humiliation, babe. Love ya. Mean it. Lexi out. Let's set the scene. It's Tuesday. I'm walking through the mall, vibing, and I see a sign outside a new gym. Free water bottle with sign up. I stop because I am a simple woman. If it's pastel and says hydrate or dihydrate, I want it. Hi, I'm Lexi, and this is the story of how I joined a gym for the aesthetic and got spiritually destroyed by a kettlebell. Let's rewind. I walk into the gym, not sweaty, not serious, just cute. Guy at the desk, Chad. Of course his name is Chad. He hands me my free water bottle and says, "You get a free CrossFit class with sign up. Want to join? Starts in 5. And I go, yeah, I totally CrossFit. I'm like really into fitness. Which is a lie. The last thing I lifted was a burrito. But I'm here, wearing leggings I bought for the look, not the lunges. So I walk into the class. The instructor, named Blaze, obviously, claps and yells, "Welcome to the Hurt Locker!" I should have left. I did not. We start with light cardio, which is Blaze speak for sprinting in place while doing jumping jacks and simultaneously praying for death. 2 minutes in, I trip on my own foot, fling a jump rope across the room like a weapon, and audibly whisper, "What fresh hell is this?" Then we move to squats. My thighs immediately betray me. It's like they made a secret deal with gravity to never lift again. I try to grab a kettlebell, 15 pounds, whatever, lift it, wobble, tilt. Suddenly, I drop it. It rolls across the floor, hits another rack. All the kettlebells fall like dominoes. Blaze pauses his burpee and just stares. Chad peeks in from the front desk like, "Is she okay?" And I am not. I sit down. Then, lie down on the yoga mat like it's my grave. Blaze crouches next to me and goes, "First time's always the hardest." I nod, sweat dripping into my ears, and say, "I just wanted the water bottle." Someone hands me an electrolyte drink. I sip. I do not recover. Moral of the story: if it's free, there's a reason. Kettlebells are not your friends, and thirst traps come in the form of pastel water bottles. Anyway, I'm Lexi, and if you ever saw a woman being gently wheeled out of a CrossFit gym on a foam roller like it's a stretcher, that was me. Tell me in the comments, what's your most chaotic gym experience? Pulled something, tripped on the treadmill, cried in the locker room? Let's spiral in sweat together, babe. Love you, mean it. Lexi, out.
So my friend texts me like, "Hey, can you help with this little backyard event I'm doing? Just some kids, animals, low key." And I'm like, "Sure, I love animals. I'm practically Snow White." Hi, I'm Lexi, and this is the story of how I went from bunny cuddles to being personally targeted by a goat named Pickles with a vendetta and a taste for luxury. Let's rewind. I show up cute, casual glam, glossy lip, wearing a little denim jacket, the kind of outfit you wear to hand feed a baby duck, not wrestle livestock. There's a pen with bunnies, a llama, some chickens, and then Pickles. He's small, gray, has one wonky horn, and eyes that scream, "I do crimes." My friend's like, "Can you just hold his leash? He's chill, just likes to roam." I say, "Of course." Pickles looks at me like, "You fool." The moment I grab the leash, he starts testing me. Pulls, tugs, side-eyes me, then chomp. He bites through the leash like it's a mozzarella stick. I yell, "Pickles!" He takes off, full sprint, little hooves clacking across the patio, parents scream, kids cheer, I'm sprinting after him in wedges. Pickles launches himself into a balloon arch and explodes it. Confetti and chaos. Then, like a scene from an Ocean's 11 Animal Edition, he runs up to a woman's chair, grabs her Michael Kors purse by the strap, and sprints into the bushes. She screams, "My wallet's in there!" I scream, "Pickles has no respect for brands." Now it's a chase. I'm crawling under patio tables, dodging chickens, and trying not to flash everyone because my crop top is not built for goat combat. Eventually, I find him behind the shed. chewing on a granola bar and looking smug. I bribe him with a granola bar. He drops the purse like a mafia boss exchanging hostages. I carry him back, upside down like a gremlin, while he farts audibly the whole way. I hand him to my friend and say, "He's your problem now." And she goes, "Oh yeah, Pickles does that. You did great." Great? Moral of the story? Goats are chaos in hoofed form. Never trust an animal named after a snack, and if a goat steals your purse, Lexi will chase it, but she's gonna need a drink after. Anyway, I'm Lexi, and if you ever saw a girl sprinting across a backyard screaming, "Drop the bag, Pickles!" that was me. Tell me in the comments, what's your weirdest animal encounter? Llama spit? Pet sitting disaster? A raccoon in your kitchen? Let's commiserate over creatures with zero chill. Love you, mean it. Lexi out.
So I'm at this pub. Cute, cozy, smells like nachos and ego. And it's trivia night. My friends invited me last minute, and I was like, sure, I love being aggressively wrong in public. Hi, I'm Lexi. And this is the story of how I declared an actual country didn't exist and got booed by a room full of adults holding beer and resentment. Let's go back. I walk in. There's a chalkboard sign that says, "Think you're smarter than a fifth grader? Prove it." Spoiler alert, I'm not. First few rounds are easy. Pop culture? Nailed it. Disney trivia? Crushed. Someone said, "Who played Ursula?" and I blacked out with power. Then it happens. The geography round. The question, what's the largest island in the world that is not a continent? Everyone at my table stares at each other. One person whispers, "Greenland?" And that's when I step in. Full volume, full confidence, full wrong. I go, "Okay, but Greenland's not real." Record scratch. My whole table turns to me. I'm sipping my margarita like it's a microphone and I'm on a TED Talk. I continue. It's like a map scam. They made it look huge to trick people or something. It's not even populated. I saw a TikTok about it. The host, bless his soul, actually stops the game. He leans over and goes, "Ma'am, Greenland is very real." And I say, "Is it though? I mean, have you been there?" A guy in the corner yells, "I'm from Greenland." I respond, "Prove it." Booze, actual booze. I'm now the villain of the pub. A woman 3 tables over throws a trivia card at me. My team kicks me off answer duty. The bartender mutters, "She's one flat earth joke away from being banned." I try to Google it discreetly. Greenland is real, populated, has a flag. I am shame. But do I admit defeat? Of course not. I whisper, "Still feels suspicious." Moral of the story, confidence without facts is a dangerous mix. Greenland exists, it's cold, and probably judging me. And if you're gonna lie in a pub, don't do it during trivia night. Anyway, I'm Lexi, and if you ever heard someone passionately declare a real country was map propaganda while holding a frozen margarita and zero credibility, that was me. Tell me in the comments, what's the dumbest fact you've ever gotten wildly wrong in public? Is Pluto a planet? Is Alaska next to Hawaii? Did you think koalas were bears? Let's get geographically humbled together, babe. Love you, mean it, Lexi out. So I'm at the airport, exhausted, beyond tired. I'd had 2 hours of sleep, one cold croissant, and a meltdown over TSA making me unpack my makeup bag like it was hiding national secrets. Hi, I'm Lexi, and this is the story of how I took the wrong sleeping pill, passed out in the sky, and woke up spooning a stranger named Greg over Ohio. Let's go back. I board the plane. Middle seat, no armrests. Sandwiched between a guy in a suit and a teenager watching TikToks at full volume. I think, 2-hour flight. I close my eyes, reset, arrive a new woman. So I pull out my trusty little sleep aid, pop one pill, wash it down with lukewarm water, and lean back. What I don't realize is I accidentally took the long-haul, knock-you-out-for-a-day version I keep for international flights. Within minutes, I'm gone. Not cute asleep. No, I'm drooling, snoring, possibly speaking in tongues. At one point, I apparently mutter, "Tell the clouds I love them," like a romantic poet from the 1800s. Then it gets worse. Turbulence hits. My body, unhinged, uncoordinated, slides sideways right into Greg. Greg, the sweet, innocent businessman next to me, is now wearing me like a very confused seatbelt. And I am out. Face pressed against his blazer, one leg half across his knee, mouth slightly open. The flight attendant comes by, asks if I'm okay. Greg goes, "I think she's dreaming about clouds eating her." When I finally wake up, mouth dry, hair a mess, no idea what year it is, I look up into the terrified eyes of Greg. I bolt upright and say, "I'm so sorry. I don't usually cuddle during transit." And Greg, bless his corporate soul, goes, "You called me Cloud Daddy twice." Moral of the story? Double check your meds, don't trust over-the-counter knockouts, and never underestimate your body's ability to publicly betray you. Anyway, I'm Lexi, and if you ever saw a woman passed out mid-flight whispering sweet nothings to the weather, that was me. Tell me in the comments, what's your worst travel fail? Wrong airport? TSA drama? Drooled on a stranger? Let's bond over high-altitude disasters, babe. Love you, mean it. Lexi out. Picture this. Midnight. I'm in Vegas. Or maybe Orlando. I honestly don't remember. What matters is that I'm tired, tipsy, and carrying tacos like sacred cargo. Hi, I'm Lexi, and this is the story of how I broke into a stranger's hotel room by accident, with confidence, and almost got myself arrested by guacamole. Let's rewind. I'm staying in one of those massive hotels with carpet that's seen things, hallways that all look exactly the same, and a room key card that's basically a suggestion. I'm walking down the hallway, room 814, 815, 816. Boom, that's mine. I swipe the key. It works. The door unlocks. Red flag number 1. The lights inside are blue. I think, wow, did I leave the vibe lights on? That's so mysterious of me. No thoughts, just tacos and ego. I walk in, put the tacos on the desk, kick off one heel, turn around, and see a strange man in a robe, staring, frozen, mid-sip of a Diet Coke. We lock eyes. He screams. I scream louder, and then I yell, "Why are you in my room?" And he goes, "You're in my room." We're both standing there mid-horror movie, with me holding a packet of hot sauce like it's pepper spray. He grabs the hotel phone like he's about to call security, and I finally realize my room was 916, not 816. I back out of the room like it's a crime scene. Shoeless, dignity evaporating, tacos abandoned. I run down the hall, find my actual room, and collapse inside. One heel on, one sock missing, full existential shame spiral. Next morning, I go back to the front desk to retrieve my tacos. They were bagged and labeled lost property. Moral of the story: always double check your hotel room number. LED lights lie, And never assume a Diet Coke man in a robe is part of the ambiance. Anyway, I'm Lexi, and if you ever heard a woman scream, "You're the intruder," while trespassing in her own hotel, that was me. Tell me in the comments, what's your worst travel brain moment? Wrong room? Wrong flight? Fell asleep in the lobby? Let's cry laugh in robe-wearing solidarity, babe. Love you, mean it? Lexi out. So here's the thing. I was stressed, like forehead vein pulsing, grind my teeth in the sleep, maybe I'll just run away to Portugal level stressed. Hi, I'm Lexi, and this is the story of how I tried to get a massage and instead got emotionally exorcised in a room full of strangers screaming at invisible demons. Let's rewind. I Google a spa. Super cute website. Muted tones, ferns. It says, 60-minute release session, deep healing, body and soul. I'm like, yes, this is what I need. Release me, spa gods. I book it. Show up in yoga pants and hope. At the front desk, a woman named Raven, barefoot, of course, hands me an herbal tea and whispers, "Your spirit will know when it's ready." Which should have been a red flag, but I was too dehydrated to care. She leads me into a dim room with a circle of cushions. No massage table. Just people sitting, quiet, heavy vibes. I whisper, is this the massage? And Raven goes, "This is scream therapy. You signed up for deep release." And before I can say, I meant release like knots in my shoulders, not suppressed childhood rage, a man across the circle yells, "I'm sick of being ignored," and bursts into tears. I'm paralyzed. Do I leave? Do I scream? Do I fake a phone call? Too late. Raven bangs the gong, loudly, like she's summoning dragons. Then she says, "Lexi, would you like to go next?" Everyone turns to me. The room smells like sage and nervous sweat. And somehow, against all better judgment, I scream. I scream like I just stepped on a Lego in the dark. I scream like someone canceled my favorite show after a cliffhanger. I scream for fun. I scream for stress. I scream because I paid for this and I'm gonna get my money's worth. And it feels weirdly good. The guy next to me, who just screamed about losing his air fryer, hands me a rose quartz and says, "You're safe now." I don't know what's happening, but I accept the rock. After 40 minutes of screaming, sobbing, and one woman chanting in Latin, Raven ends it with a soft, "We are released." Then they pass around vegan brownies. I eat too, because trauma burns calories. Moral of the story. Always read the full spa description. There's a time and place for yelling. Apparently it's Tuesdays at 4 p.m. And maybe screaming into a pillow isn't the worst thing after all. Anyway, I'm Lexi, and if you ever heard someone howling their stress while clutching a healing crystal in a room lit by salt lamps and regret, that was me. Tell me in the comments, what's your weirdest wellness fail? Weird yoga, wrong class, that one time you accidentally drink mushroom tea? Let's laugh through our healing together, babe. Love you, mean it. Lexi out. Let me just say this up front. I love Beyoncé. She's my Roman Empire. I think about her daily. So when Single Ladies came on in my AirPods, you already know my inner Sasha Fierce took over. Hi, I'm Lexi, and this is the story of how I turned a public bathroom into Coachella without realizing I had an unwilling audience. Let's rewind. I'm at the mall, power walking, hydrated, glowy, wearing noise-canceling headphones because I don't want to talk to humans. Beyoncé starts, the beat drops, and I suddenly need to dance. But, I'm in public. So I tell myself, go into the bathroom. No one's ever in there. You can, practice discreetly. Discreetly cute. I walk into the restroom,
No visible feet under the stalls, no sound. It feels empty. So I step in front of the mirror and start with just a little shoulder bounce, then a hip hop, then the single lady's hand flip. I start mouthing lyrics, full eye contact with myself like I'm in a music video. At one point, I drop my bag, spin in a circle, and shout, with headphones in, "All the single ladies!" Then, flush, loud, behind me. I freeze mid-booty shake. I look in the mirror and make direct eye contact with a woman exiting the stall. She is clutching her purse like she just walked into a spiritual crisis. She looks at me, then at her hands, then back at me, like, was that for me? I panic, rip out my headphones, yell, "I thought no one was in here." She says, "I was, the whole time," and then washes her hands in absolute silence while I stand there trying not to cry. And to make it worse, as she's leaving, she casually goes, "You missed a step." Ma'am? Moral of the story. Noise-canceling headphones equals danger. Always check for quiet bathroom witnesses, and if you're gonna serve Choreo, be prepared for an audience. Anyway, I'm Lexi. And if you ever heard muffled Beyoncé echoing from a mall bathroom, followed by one woman singing, "Put a ring on it" to herself in the mirror, that was me. Tell me in the comments, what's your most public accidental performance moment? Saying out loud in an elevator, practice lines in public, danced in a dressing room? Let's laugh at our spotlight failures, babe. Love you, mean it. Lexi out.
It was supposed to be a quick errand, like run in, grab almond milk, maybe a snack, and bounce. But I, being me, decided to make it a Luke. Hi, I'm Lexi, and this is the story of how I tried to slay in the grocery store and ended up crashing the entire canned goods section like a sequin tornado. Let's rewind. It's Sunday. I'm dressed in this tight little dress. You know, the kind that makes people stare and you pretend not to notice. Heels, lip gloss poppin', hair, and a claw clip like a fashionable velociraptor. I walk in confident. I'm getting looks. I'm serving main character energy. The lights in aisle 3 literally flicker like they know I've arrived. I'm halfway to the almond milk when I realize I forgot a basket. So I do a little spin, strut back toward the entrance, and grab one off the stack. And that's when it happens. My heel slips through the handle of the basket. I'm stuck, like a Barbie doll whose foot got wedged into a plastic chair. I try to wiggle it free, but the basket is now attached to my leg like some sort of budget medieval torture device. Naturally, I panic. Try to step out of it. Instead, I lurch forward like a baby giraffe, grab a shelf for balance. Bad move. Because I don't just grab any shelf, I grab the bean shelf. And let me tell you, the bean shelf is fully, dangerously stocked. One can goes down, then another. Then the entire row collapses like a bean-based avalanche. Clank, clunk, crash, it's raining legumes. A toddler screams. A dude behind me drops his energy drink and just whispers, "Oh my God." And I am frozen. Heel still trapped, one arm holding a shelf, the other clutching almond milk like it's my emotional support beverage. A store employee runs over like, "Ma'am, are you okay?" And I say, emotionally, no. Physically, also no. The beans keep rolling. I'm trying to yank my foot free without looking like I'm fighting a basket octopus. Eventually, I kick the heel off, free myself, and hobble barefoot to the next aisle like an escaped pageant queen. I leave the store with 1 almond milk, 1 bruised heel, and 800 grams of personal shame. Moral of the story? Grocery stores are not runways. Beans are not to be underestimated, and never, ever wear heels near plastic baskets. Anyway,
I'm Lexi. And if you ever saw a woman dragging a shopping basket with her foot while triggering a bean tsunami, that was me. Tell me in the comments, what's your most ridiculous grocery store moment? Trolley chaos? Loud fart aisle echo? Dropped something you swore you wouldn't? Let's talk produce and public embarrassment, babe. Love you, mean it. Lexi out.
So it's 2 a.m. I'm at that weird gas station supermarket hybrid that's always open but always looks like it's been through something. Hi, I'm Lexi, and this is the story of how I became a fruit thief against my will in sweatpants. Let's rewind. I'm exhausted. Ran out of oat milk. My deodorant's a dried out husk. I throw on the ugliest hoodie I own, drive to the 24-hour market, and shuffle in like a gremlin looking for snacks and self-respect. Grab some basics. And a watermelon, because I'm impulsive and think I'm healthy now. I roll up to the self-checkout. Eyes half open, brain fully off. I scan the oat milk. Beep. Deodorant. Beep. Then the watermelon, which doesn't have a barcode. So I hit the Look Up Item button. Type WA, finger slips, hits parsley. First result, organic parsley, $1.22. I think, close enough. Click. I toss the watermelon in the bagging area, and the machine is like, "Thank you for shopping." And I'm like, "You're welcome, robot queen." I pay. I leave. I'm halfway to my car. Bag in one hand, watermelon under the other arm like a rebellious baby, when I hear it. "Ma'am, excuse me, ma'am." I turn around. This teenage employee is running at me like I just robbed the Louvre. He's holding a receipt. He's out of breath. He's yelling, "Did you scan this melon as parsley?" And I, still not understanding what's happening, go, "I'm sorry, what?" And he holds the receipt up like it's evidence at a trial. "You paid $1.22 for a 12-pound watermelon." And I just go, "Oh." My soul leaves my body. I try to explain. "I thought I clicked watermelon. I was tired. I didn't mean to commit melon fraud." He stares at me. I stare at the melon. The melon stares into my sins. And this kid, this hero, goes, "I'm supposed to report it, but honestly, same." Then he takes my $9 in cash, no receipt, no judgment, just vibes and fruit justice. Moral of the story? Don't self-check out when you're sleep-deprived. Watermelons are not herbs, and parsley will never weigh 12 pounds. Anyway, I'm Lexi, and if you ever saw a woman speed walking with a watermelon and getting chased like she just did a grocery heist, that was me. Tell me in the comments, what's your dumbest checkout moment? Misscanned something? Dropped eggs in front of a crowd? Forgot your wallet after a full cart? Let's talk crimes and carbs, babe. Love ya. Mean it. Lexi out.